How's it going, guys? Good morning on this beautiful Sunday morning. We're here at Hawaiian Style Cafe with these guys here. Brother Bruce.
How's it?
Brother Tim over there trying to run away. And Philip.
How's it?
So they did a overflight this morning. Tell me what you guys seen.
Well, we got into the air as we were expecting the surge to arrive at Fissure 8 following the summit collapse that happened at 3:30 this morning. So right when we first arrived at Fissure 8, we saw there was a big surge happening. The channel was almost all the way full, and it was pumping out of 8 and coming into the little bay next to it that we sometimes call Mini 8. And it was rushing in there and swirling, making a giant whirlpool and then splashing out the edge of that thing and sending a big flow to the south towards the Malama side. It hadn't covered any new ground. It was on top of a more recent flow, so it hadn't burned anything that hadn't been covered before. But it was still massive and impressive to see. Yeah.
Very impressive. I've never seen the channel coming out of Fissure 8 that full before. And I love shooting the textures and patterns in that channel exiting Fissure 8, but there was none of that today because there was so much lava coming out.
That was gushing.
Yeah, crazy.
That was hard to estimate the size of that standing wave, but when that thing was coming out, it hit the side of that crater was banking up, and it must have been 40 feet tall or something. It's hard to tell from that high up in the air, but it was well above. It was kind of going splashing up beyond the ground, right?
Yeah.
Pouring out.
So there was a ton of lava
It was
moving.
a lot of lava.
And that was a surge from this morning, and yesterday was the same surge that we seen in the morning when we did the overflight with Okita, and we seen that overflow headed towards Malama also. So
Yeah, in the same area, kind of covering almost exactly the same ground.
Yeah.
So if you look at the pictures, it's kind of even hard to tell which one is the older silver flow, because the new one's almost exactly in the same spot.
Yeah.
Like almost exactly covering it, yeah.
And the ocean entry. Everybody heard my update this morning, and what you guys seen from the air?
Yeah, it seemed like the ocean entry, there was less volume going in than yesterday. I mean, it's more focused to that one spot, with a huge plume. Almost looks like that surge had not reached down there yet. So, I don't think it made any advancement southward to any closer to Pohoiki yet. Kind of curious what's going to happen.
Right.
That volume gets down there.
Yeah, it's interesting when we're seeing these multiple surges per day, it's almost like you see the surge on one part of the system, and then like the other part is going through the draining part, and then it switches, right? Because it kind of propagates all the way down the channel, that pulse of lava. So even though we didn't see it active when we flew over it, that is going to become more active when that surge gets down there.
Right.
And as that happens, that flow on the top side is probably going to be dying off. So it's really shifting through these, sweeping down the channel system, right? So probably that's when it's doing the most damage as far as spreading and advancing, is during that pulse that comes through, and then it kind of can spread out with extra lava that's not able to all fit in the channel that's there, that's feeding into the ocean already.
And we kind of seen a surge last night at the river. We've seen somewhat of a surge. It kind of looked like a wave was coming down.
We definitely did, yeah. And Bruce and I were talking this morning about maybe we need to start calling these two different things, because the surges are like the large volume increase, but then there's also this pulsing effect, right? So maybe we should start calling the difference between pulses and surges. Pulsing is happening almost all the time, right? We've seen videos of 5 minutes it's down, 5 minutes later it's up, and then 5 minutes later it's back down. So there's that kind of action that's happening all the time already. But then on top of that, there's this larger wavelength, huge amount that's coming and sweeping through as well, right? So even when it's low, you see, like we were seeing last night, you see that kind of pulse come through as well. Probably what I'd call what happened last night, right? Like pulse that came through. It wasn't as big as a surge.
Right.
Definitely could see it moving through the channel. Like we saw the channel was actually higher. The liquid lava was
moving faster
taller
too
in the middle, and liquid lava on the side was lower, right? Because that's how thick and viscous it is, right? So it actually started flowing from the middle to the side of the wall. That's how we could tell it was really filling in more than it was before. So and how fast it was doing that.
Yeah, and Bruce was saying a couple of the channel was pretty much full halfway down by that long island.
The braided channel, the channels were filled to the edges, and some areas look wider to me. I gotta go back and look at the photos, but it looked like channels were filled to the brim, and that area of spillovers just north of Kīlauea crater, that was pretty, it was overflowing, but not getting off the cooled lava.
Right.
It's spreading in that general vicinity.
Right. There was the one house that's still left that was, there was a flow heading that way, but it may not have gotten there. It's hard to tell. Go back. But in between that area and all the way back, there was no spillover. I suppose the channel was, which is interesting, right?
Yeah.
It's interesting when we were at the channel. I think you're absolutely right as far as the thing being wider, and it's also probably a little straighter. Because every time we go and look at the channel walls after one of the levels are down, what we see is exposed, cracked channel walls. Like you don't see lava covering the edges. After it coats it, it drops back down, the edges fall in. Right. So every time this thing is pulsing, you're probably getting another sliver off the edge, getting shaved off, even if it's only a foot. That's going to add on. How many of these have we had? 1 foot 20 times. So, you know, pretty wide. So that was interesting to tie that together as well.
And then even while we were at the over Fissure 8, we saw the level of the lava decrease and then increase again. It was spilling over when we first got there, and then we went over to the backside to avoid some clouds, and we could see the rim again.
You could see the rim again, yeah, and I could even see. You could even see within the pool, the kind of flowing pool inside Fissure 8, there actually were some slabs of crust that were able to form in there. So things slowed down enough that I actually had a chance to cool it a bit to form a crust. And then it picked back up again, and all that stuff got ripped apart, shoved out of there, and you couldn't see it anymore afterwards. It was really changing that fast. I mean, like, you know, really, it was like 5 minutes. It was pulse. So all during the surge, a larger pulse, and a smaller pulse, and a larger pulse, and exposing it, flooding the area, and receding, and flooding and receding. We saw it, what, 2 or 3 times maybe? That process, and just hovering around for maybe 10 minutes or so. So happening fast, this pulsing action, right?
Oh,
crazy. So
that's what's our new update. Also, I like to say, also when I was headed down towards the ocean entry this morning, leaving Hilo, man, you could tell Fissure 8 was pumping because the glow from it was just incredible. After over a week, I haven't seen a glow like that for the past couple of weeks, maybe a week. But again, there was a little overflow headed towards Malama side. Still hasn't reached the homes or the forested area yet, right, Phil?
Right. Yeah, and there also are still overflows over near the cinder pit area, right? So that whole area is still overflowing. There's kind of a big pool of hot lava. You know, I think that's still, to me, the area I worry about the most. Putting a flow out in a new direction where it hasn't been yet. You know, especially going north towards Cinderland. It's very active, and it could easily spill over. Like, let's say this pulse reaches down there, because it was overflowing when we first flew over, and we don't know if the main surge gotten there yet. So if it was still coming, then that thing is going to spill over even more than it was already.
Right.
So that area is definitely volatile and real unstable. Right.
All right. You got anything to say, Bruce?
No? Live on the edge?
Live on the edge, yeah. It's the only way to live, man.
And what we like to say, everybody, hello everybody, and stay classy, food.